Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the analysis of YOLENO TV. I hope you're well from wherever you're watching this channel. Now, there's something that Dr. Peter Mbae, who is the DCP Secretary for Planning and Economic Affairs, there's something he said regarding Ngunjiri WAMBUGU.
However, I would say this: when you see somebody who sleeps, talks, smells and acts like an NIS operative coming around, nosing around you, you get worried. I mean, I'm just saying, if you find somebody who works, walks, talks like an operative planted, you have every reason to be very worried. I'm just saying that very deliberately. We are civil people in DCP. We don't go putting everything in the public, but we know what happened. We know what we discovered about that man you are talking about, and we know why we cut him off from DCP, because we discovered who he was working for.
If you see someone who creeps, talks, smells, and walks like NIS operative, nosing around you, and you have to be worried. So this statement, Dr. Peter Mbae delivered it in a live TV. Now, what is happening here is that Ngunjiri has been blamed to be spying on DCP and on behalf of other players. To be honest, ladies and gentlemen, Ngunjiri WAMBUGU has been executing a lot of watermelon-like moves. One time he was with Jubilee. Then he moved and pretended to be supporting DCP. Then all of a sudden, we are seeing him with Jubilee and making statements that are pro-government. So these are things which are, if you carefully analyze, then you could suspect Ngunjiri WAMBUGU to be like a mole within the opposition, an NIS mole. So if you go keen on the statement from Peter Mbae, what Peter Mbae is telling us is that most likely Ngunjiri WAMBUGU could be spying on the opposition. He could be an NIS deployed to pick data. And that explains why William Ruto is very confident that he's going to beat the opposition, because he is gathering information of their planning. If you look at the opposition right now, you cannot say they are united. You see, the faction of Kalonzo is like it's not ready to work with the faction of Matiang'i, because the faction of Matiang'i wants to be the flag bearer and Kalonzo is to be deputized, deputize Matiang'i. The faction of RIGATHI wants to work with Kalonzo, but gives Kalonzo very many tough conditions which Kalonzo cannot meet if he wants to become a flag bearer. If he can't meet the conditions, then he should deputize Rigathi Gachagua. So you see, all of these things are just creating tension within the United Opposition Alliance. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like us to confront this video from Peter Mbae, Dr. Peter Mbae, concerning what he has discovered about Ngunjiri WAMBUGU. But before we escalate this story further, ladies and gentlemen, kindly take this opportunity, support the work we do on this channel by liking this video and subscribing to our channel. Once again, thank you so much for that support. I'm going to ask you this very important question. Do you believe that what Dr. Peter Mbae is saying concerning the identity of Ngunjiri WAMBUGU to being an NIS mole deployed in the opposition, that he is simply spying, he is just a mole? Do you agree with that statement? Just go below on the comment section and tell us your perception on that. But if you ask me that similar question, this is my take. Based on my close analysis of Ngunjiri WAMBUGU.
He's the owner of that particular meeting. We're all looking forward to seeing him. And God willing, for all intents and purposes, he should be there. He's the one who's going to give direction. When you think about it, Matiang'i is the most prominent person right now in the political sphere who has openly stepped out and said he wants to contest for the national election. And for us as Jubilee, Matiang'i is our person. And why do I say is our person? Matiang'i was a cabinet secretary for Uhuru for 10 years. At some point, he was like the chief implementer of the policies that Jubilee Party believed in from government. So outside Uhuru, today in the party, I don't think we have anybody who has the capacity, who has the knowledge of the party the way Matiang'i does. I am not sure Uhuru is going to hand over on Friday. We're not in a hurry to see Uhuru leave as a party leader of Jubilee ourselves. He's got a wealth of experience and there's so many things we can learn from him, especially now in the murky world we are living in, where if we are not careful, this country could get divided. And for Uhuru, unity of the country and stability of the country has been a big...
And what Dr. Peter Mbaya said, I would authoritatively say that maybe Dr. Peter Mbaya is right. Because if Ngunjiri WAMBUGU had shown indication of working with Rigathi Gachagua, why did he suddenly leave that camp? What was the rush? If you believe in someone's ideas, I think the best thing is for you to join that person, support that person, help that person grow the idea. But if you join temporarily, and then a month or days after you leave, then someone would like to ask themselves, what was your intention of joining the camp temporarily, then leaving? You see, that is why Peter Mbaya could be right. He could be right because right now, honestly speaking, the presence of malls in opposition in Ikoju. I think right now the number of malls deployed has surpassed what happened in 2022. In 2022, the biggest reason why Raila Amolo Odinga failed is because some of the people he had were simply malls. Some of the people he had in his camp, Azimio camp, were malls. People whose intention was not to make Raila Amolo Odinga the president, but to steal information and supply the information to Kenya Kwanza. And that explains the main reason why Kenya Kwanza appeared to have planned itself well, better than the government-supported faction. And the government-supported faction was the Azimio faction. That is the faction that Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta supported. But they were beaten hands down simply because some of the information they had, secrets, were conveyed to the other part. So I think that is the main reason why Azimio could not win, ladies and gentlemen. Malls. So it's a huge threat by them politically. If at all someone will deploy people in your camp to collect information, you see, it's making Rigathi Gachagua very uncomfortable. He doesn't know who to trust. Maybe the same people he trusts the most are the ones who are going to sell him at the end of the day. You know, if you look at the activities around Rigathi Gachagua, there are certain politicians who have slowed down their activities around Rigathi Gachagua. And that is explaining the same point of malls. These are people who could have been warned by Rigathi Gachagua or the team that their activities are suspicious. Of course, we have seen what happened with Wamuchomba. Wamuchomba is no more is not anymore supporting Rigathi, but Wamuchomba is already being seen around Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. And the politics that Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta is bringing on board is one that we'll talk about in another video. But Uhuru is also very smart and playing his cards well. He knows what he's doing. Now, ladies and gentlemen, based on the development and based on what is happening, just tell us below in the comment section whether you think WAMBUGU ni yule ambayo yuko pale tu kuwa deployed kumharibia Rigathi. Na je, atafaulu? Just tell us below in the comment section. So perhaps if you're watching this video and you've not subscribed, take 1 second and subscribe, like this video. Until you catch up again, stay safe and stay blessed.